All right, what you're looking at is the back of the transfer case on a 1997 Toyota Tacoma, so a first gen four-wheel drive Tacoma. And today what we're going to do is we're going to change the fluid in the transfer case and in the manual transmission. If this is something that interests you, please stick around for the video. So if you watched our last couple videos, we changed the fluid in the front differential and the fluid in the rear differential. Today we're going to be taking on the transfer case and the manual transmission. So the front differential and the rear differential use a GL5 hypoid gear oil. The transmission in the transfer case uses a GL4 gear oil. Same weight, so 75-90 weight, just with the GL4 spec. It's a synchromesh transmission, and that's what it calls for, so that's what we're using. So in the front and the rear differential, we used a Valvoline product. Today we're going to be using a Triax gear oil product. And it is the 75-90 weight GL4 rated. There are a bunch of different fluids out there that make GL4 stuff. So this is MT90. Redline is a very popular oil that goes in manual transmissions and transfer cases that are linked together like the Tacomas. AMSOIL makes a great product. The Triax has got great properties, great reviews, meets all the specs, and so that's what we're using today. Easy for me to get. So you'll notice that when we start to do the work here, we're going to actually be using some squeeze bottles. So I repurposed some of the Valvoline bottles. Once they were drained all the way out, we filled them with the Triax oil, and that's what we'll be putting in. So the transfer case has about a quart, a little more than a quart. And just like everything else, we're going to fill it up till it just barely runs out. It uses the same 15/16 socket for both the fill and the drain plug. And we're going to take, again, the fill plug out first. If you watch my rear end video, you'll see that we had to use the impact wrench to get that thing off. The torque specs on these things is not a lot. The rear axle, the torque spec was 36 foot-pounds. The torque spec for this transfer case is 27 foot-pounds. This is something you should very easily be able to take off with a socket wrench. So let's see how tight they made this one. So these also use crush washers for both the fill and the drain plug. So we took 2 more out of that kit that we ordered. Link in the description for what that is. So hopefully this is just gonna, oh, thank God. Holy crap, I'm not being dramatic. Somebody just puts this stuff on really tight. Now I'm using a short handle too, so leverage is one of those things, but still. Oh, that's good. So we got oil coming out. Man, that looks really clean. So hopefully this one comes off just as, oh, that's more like it's supposed to be. So that looks like it's been done. So we may be just changing oil to change oil, but since we're down here and it's super simple, we're just going to go ahead and do it. Woo! That was messy. So this is a thinner oil than gear oil. So the gear oil that goes in your rear end, and your differentials, your front and your rear differentials. So just be cognizant of that because it can come out pretty fast, just like you saw. So we'll let this drain and I'll get the drain plugs cleaned off. There is no magnet in either of these. And so we'll get them set and ready to be threaded back in. So this should only take a few minutes. Now that that is done, all right, like I said, 27 foot-pounds. Doesn't take much. All right, so like I said, these are filled with that Triax. And again, squeeze bag for the win. Like I said, this should take a little over one. See, there it goes. But you can see how much cleaner just that is. All right, we're gonna take in, tighten this one down. to 27. All right, and that's done. Let's move to the manual transmission. So the drain plug is on the passenger side of the truck, and the fill plug is on the driver's side. So we're gonna do what we've been doing, which is take that fill plug out first. So it's the same 27 or 15/16. Oh my God. Why? Increase our leverage here. So hopefully that does the trick. Oh, goodness. I don't know why people put them on so tight. But again, these have the crush washers. And we're full here too. All good. All right, so we'll go to the other side and get that drain plug out. Nice. Well, it looks like they did listen on the drain side. This is gonna, I feel, is gonna make a huge mess because there's quite a bit more fluid in the transmission. So I believe it's 2. So if you watch my oil change video, you know that I used one of these bottles to fill our oil up, just simply because they're easier sometimes than a funnel. And so to do what I just did, it keeps you from spilling all over the place. So that worked out really well. All right, we're gonna let that drain out. We're gonna get our new washers and then we'll put it all back together. All right. All right, we're gonna put the drain plug back in with our crush washer. And again, 27 foot-pounds is the torque spec. Again, not much. All right, here's where these squeeze bottles come in handy again. I mean, it's, oops. Did I not have that on tight? Nope. Make sure that the cap's on tight so you don't squeeze oil everywhere. I mean, I've used the pumps before, but these things, I prefer them. Again, this is 2 and some change. And we're going to fill it until it just barely overflows. A little bit before it starts to come out. There it is. So again, 27 foot-pounds. All right, and that's it. I'll wipe everything up. All right, so that was changing of the transfer case and the manual transmission fluid in a 1997 Tacoma, or a first gen Tacoma. So it took us 1 gallon of the Triax JL4 fluid for manual transmissions, which is the MT90 version, to get it done. So you can buy a gallon, and you'll have plenty enough to do both. So like I said, the transmission is 1.1. The transfer case is 1.1 quarts. The transmission is 2.2 quarts. So you'll have plenty if you get a gallon. So super easy. Squeeze bottles, crush washers, torque wrench. Do it right. Do it the first time and make life easier on you or whoever gets to your truck next. Hope you guys got something from the video. If you made it this far, give yourself a giant thumbs up. This just proves you can easily do this in your driveway, in the garage, just like me, with just basic hand tools. Really a 15/16 socket and a wrench is really all you need. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be continuing to do work on the Tacoma. We got a lot of stuff left to do. We got spark plug wires, maybe valve cover gaskets. We've got skid plates to put on, so lots of cool things coming. So like I said, if you made it this far, give yourself a thumbs up, and we will see you on the next video.